I mean, again, when I think we're all pretty understanding of kind of the goal being immersed in the process to make it as efficient as possible to manifest something that we love as artists. Because, like I said, we're not for everybody. Not everybody's for everybody. There is an over inundation of music into the public ether right now, and you're right, Jerome. Not a lot of people don't have a lot of time, myself included, to listen to every single thing that comes out, fully immerse it in your being. And it's hard. We're all out here, slaves to money. We're in this capitalist society. We don't have the actual physical bodily time to do everything our heartstrings might tell us to do, or our gut or our soul being. So again, it's a lot about meeting in the middle. Physical bodies in my journey here on Earth, but what I don't do is give up or let that shit totally eat me or paralyze me to a point of no return. So like I'm keeping it all. I'm cognizant of the highs and the lows, and it really averages out to I'm constantly meeting that middle ground, even when I'm my saddest, because I've got tools and I'm honest with myself. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like I'm not hiding. I'm speaking about my own mental health, my own bodily journey struggles, and they're not grander or lesser than others, but that's where empathy comes from. That's where it's bigger than music comes from. That's where doing music to make a more spiritual human change. And I don't necessarily think it needs to be revolutionary as much as a clarity of evolution. Like I think sometimes we try to do too much and then it resets us and then we're right back in that same boat. And I think right now it's really important that we as humans, we as a society, of course that makes sadness and depression more visceral, but it also helps embody the process to be on a path of healing, even when it's bad, even when we're dealing with death every day. Like the Dungeon family lost Rico Wade today, and that's extremely sad. It's a founder of all of Atlanta hip hop. But then, we're not in a trauma competition either. There's people dying in travesty wars going on across the world every day. And we have to think about that. Like, if you're not thinking about that, you're living for the dollar, which you don't take with you when you die. And it's like, I'm not thinking, I have to think about money a lot, but I'm thinking about these things. These are the things that drive me. Thinking about life before and after death, thinking about non-bodily existence, energy. And I know that's a lot of information.
You mentioned about your music being therapeutic and like writing a diary. I think that becomes like journaling. Like when you do your music is like journaling to you, and it's very therapeutic. And it's when you journal, it's like self-reflection. And that alone helps you analyze and compartmentalize your own fucking trauma and your experiences, and you can evaluate it, and you can kind of break out of that loop and like you said, evolve.
Really well said, Jerome. And I like, there's a positive connotation to compartmentalize. I think there's so many semantic words that have a certain connotation, and like compartmentalizing in a psychoanalytic sense is considered negative to a large degree, or there's this like negative resonance behind it. But like if you're trying to step back and like be as objective about your subjective experience as possible, you can healthily compartmentalize, because you're not compartmentalizing and locking keys away or ignoring certain signs or certain aspects of your experience. So I agree with that entirely, Jerome. And I think as a multitasker, as somebody who, I'm learning to advocate for myself, learning to stand up. I've been working a long time in life, taking care of people, and that's no excuse. I'm not gonna, you can be a martyr and a king at the same time. So I'm not gonna identify with one and not the other, and be a poor me, or no pity here. It's like we're all going through this bodily experience. So I feel really grateful just to be raw with myself, and that's, I think, why I'm so connected to the process of the medicinal aspect of music. I can't not do it. I have to do it, and hopefully I'm better for it. Hopefully one person is better for having known me in some slight way, and if not, I didn't have any expectations in the first place, and my body was going to die. So however, it's up to interpretation at that point. But great point.
Yeah, I've never met or never even heard of any artist who can like channel their own experiences and like put it in the lyrics as well as you. Like that's like some kind of God like transcending. That's why it's like you're like an advanced being when you reflect. And some of that shit doesn't even resonate like right away. But there's times when I go back and listen to some Blonju shit, and I'm like, God damn, are you like you're in my mind right now? Like, this shit is crazy. Like, and then some of this shit I don't even it don't make no sense sometimes. It just sounds like I'm listening to A$AP Rock. But then sometimes I listen to it for like the 10th, 20th time, and in that moment, it makes sense to what's going on in that moment.
So what you just said was genius, Jerome, because that's how Outkast hit me. Even though, like, my father and my mother, they were hippies, there was a ton of love in the house, things got real, in my teenage years. My sister was 8 or 9, my pops left, really just went total rock and roll midlife crisis stage, and I woke up to the reality of like responsibility, life, the world, and I was very sad then, sad at 15, dealing with deep depression, but toughing it out, getting my grades, doing my basketball, all that. But like Outkast was already out. I loved them as a kid, but by 19 or 20 years old, I was at kind of a spiritual crossroads. I needed the universe to reflect the way I felt, and like Outkast was there for me. I felt like Outkast did what you just said I do for you sometimes, where it goes from A$AP Rock to, now I realize Blonju was saying some shit here, because you were at a state to receive that, and it's a mental state, a spiritual state, an experience state, and that's why I'm so unfiltered with releasing whatever I release or doing the process repeatedly, and not necessarily for a result, because Outkast did that for me. I felt like they put timeless, infinite seeds in their music when they were young. We were all young at this time. They're 4 or 5 years older than me, but they spoke to me, man. Aquemini like told me to rap. I've said this before in other interviews, but Chonky Fire is the last song on Aquemini, and I swear to God, they were telling me to rap. They were like talking directly to me. We need some white boy that knows what we're saying to come out here and say some real shit, and like I still feel that. I feel just as fiery and inspired by that moment as today as I was